Hello, I am Dr. Bertice Berry, Reverend Dr. Bertice Berry. Sometimes I forget that Reverend Jimmy.
Yeah, there's a lot of reverends in there. Good. You need two reverends, one doctor. How about you take
We
one
need,
reverend? I'll borrow the reverend. I don't have a doctorate. I'm Reverend Jimmy Marsh Jr.
well, we need them to just kind of keep us sane and doing the things and doing all the things. This is Doing Hopeful Things, a brand new podcast that won't be new for long. You'll be participating and part of it. But Reverend Jimmy, tell them how we landed on the title Hopeful Things, Doing Hopeful Things.
Well, first of all, Bertice, thank you for a year ago almost for putting me on Facebook Live without me really knowing it. And it's amazing thing to pull off. And you and I had a great time just talking about our writing. We're talking about theology, and that moved us towards talking about what comes naturally to both of us are hopeful things. You had been doing your daily story that you've been doing since the pandemic, and all of those stories are so helpful. So it naturally came to the word hope. The word hope kind of was swirling around hopeful. And it reminded me of a quote from Daniel Berrigan, who is a former Jesuit activist who was asked by someone, how do you remain hopeful during hopeless times? And he responded, I do hopeful things.
Oof.
And when I said that, you just did that. You did that. You're like, oof. And then that the more we started doing the Facebook Live thing, the more that word came up, and you and I were
Mhm.
noodling around with different. We were like, let's do a podcast, and what could we call it? So we had different things about story. You and I are all about story, and then we just kept gravitating back. It kept kind of pulling us back in, and the hopeful
Yeah.
thing, and then yeah, that's how
Yeah,
it began.
I had been praying about it and just kind of meditating on it, and one of the things that became apparent to me was that people are in that time of feeling like it's not hopeful, right?
Hmm.
Sociologists call it anomie, a sense of complete hopelessness. And there is a feeling of that people have expressed to me of feeling hopeless and
Hmm.
how to get out of it. So on this podcast, we'll talk about doing hopeful things and we'll give tips on doing hopeful things, but we will talk to people who are doing hopeful things. You will
Yeah.
learn from some of the most hopeful people. You will learn from people who are not only inspirational, but really insightful and really wise. And some of them are way down the road with ideas and things that I've not heard discussed on any other podcast in any other situation. So I'm excited about it. You'll have the opportunity to join us. We will record these podcasts, but then after you've watched them, you'll have a chance to discuss them with us live on Facebook and through Instagram and other social media. So the very cool thing is every week we will have a meditation, and I think I'm going to do the meditation today, Jimmy.
I'm glad
Is
you.
that okay with you?
I'm so glad because I did not have one. Thank God you and I work well together. That's perfect.
Well, you know
Perfect.
what though?
What I ain't got, you
The
got. What you ain't got,
this
I got. Okay.
this one's going to be kind of funny because we're all experiencing this heat wave. You're in England right now, yeah,
Yes. And it's hot over here.
and it's hot as it is here in Savannah, Georgia. Except the difference is,
Humidity.
no, we have humidity. You have no air conditioning.
Oh, that's that's
I will
right.
take the
No
humidity
AC.
with AC all
Ooh
day
yeah.
long.
Ooh yeah.
You have no
Yeah.
air conditioning because it's
Ooh.
unseasonal. It's unusual to have the heat like that.
Oh, as
So
hot as seven rows
I'm
of
gonna.
wild garlic. It's so hot.
That's
We could do
hot.
that. It's so hot. How hot is
It's
it?
so hot. How hot is it? Oh, all the non-reverent things just came to me.
Oh.
Yeah,
You know
because
the
my
best
mother's
hot joke.
sayings.
Do you know the best? Do you know the best? It's so hot.
How hot is it?
It's so hot here, Bertice, that I saw a dog chasing a cat, and they were both walking.
Okay. Okay.
I we'll cut that one out. Don't worry. That'll draw. That'll
No, that won't be cut out. We're leaving it. No, this is what I say when it's really, really hot and I'm in all my vestments and I've got
uh-huh.
I'm like up there in the church and
Yes.
they're saving money on the air conditioning. So it's set to 75 and I got on
Yeah.
all these layers of stuff. And typically what I say when I go to myself, I'll be in the elevator going down. I'm like, I think my water just broke.
Oh my God.
So this is a
No.
meditation.
Let's meditation. Break.
Um, and since it's going to be kind of a funny meditation because it's my mother's meditation, she had a meditation for if it was too hot and a meditation for too cold, right? So since it's kind of funny, Jimmy, I'm going to ask you to provide the ambiance music in the background. So why don't you? You said you were
Uh,
just seeing, you saw a movie and you got some music from it.
I do. I do. I could have danced all night. I could have danced all
Oh,
night.
this is perfect. Okay, start again. Start again.
Are there lilac trees in the heart of town?
No, do danced all night. Do danced all night.
I could have danced all
This is my
night.
mother's
I could have
meditation. Take a deep breath
danced
in,
all night. I could have
let it out. Take a deep
danced
breath
all
in.
night.
And we would come in and say,
I
Mom, it's so hot. Keep singing.
could have
Keep singing.
danced all
And she would
night.
say, You want to
I could
cool
have
off? Sit
danced all
down.
night. I could
Get
have.
still. So I just, that was her thing. If you sit down, all that dancing all night. Why are you dancing? As hot as it is, flitting that hot air around. Sit down. Stop flitting that hot air and you won't be hot. Sit down. You'll cool off. Get from in front of the fan. You're funky. So, okay, seriously. Take a
Mm.
deep breath in.
Oh,
Let it out.
that wasn't the meditation. Okay.
No, but it worked, didn't it? You cooled off already. Take a
Do
deep
you
breath
need
in.
another song for the? No, you don't need
No.
another song right now. Okay. All right.
Take a deep breath in
Go.
and let it out. Another deep breath in. Let it out. And go into the regulator that is your mind. Go to that moment, that place that you remember. And you said, whenever things are tough, or hard, or hot, this is the place I will come back to. Mine was a place in the US Virgin Islands. I was on St. Thomas and I was just floating in the water. And I looked up and I saw a mountain and I imagined that I actually could say to that mountain, Be thou removed, and the mountain would be cast into the sea. And I remember lying there on the water saying to myself, You don't need to do that. You don't need to move the mountain to prove that the mountain can be moved. Take a deep breath in, let it out. But the thing that I told myself was that I could always come back to this place, a place of comfort, a place of cooling, a place of rest, a place of joy, a place of hopefulness. Take a deep breath in, let it out, and see yourself in the place that you told yourself that you would always come back to. That place is within you, it is around you, it is for you. And when you need to remember hopeful things, remember this moment. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, Reverend Jimmy.
That's good. Thank you, Bertice.
Thank you. I was really enjoying. I could have danced all
You just
night.
let me know. And you know what's really funny? I just listened to that. I just realized I don't know any other line to that song than that. But so I do know on the street where you live. I do know that one.
Okay.
But that would have gotten me carried away, and I think that was
So,
wonderful.
if you will, because even that is a very hopeful thing, tell us why you were watching that movie, if you don't mind.
I don't mind. I don't think Lodi would mind. So Lodi's my partner here, and her mom is suffering from dementia and is in a care home that's just about 5 miles away. So I'm here in the countryside of England and a couple hours northwest of London. And her mom is in this care home is just, they do brilliant work and take amazingly great care of the clients there, the patients there. And Lodi's mother was a former Bertice. You would love her. She's a former singer and pianist, and she sang professionally and traveled in the States and did theater. And at 81 years old, she can still play the piano and she can still sing. Not as great as she sang before, says Lodi, but her mom's mind is leaving. But fascinatingly, what hasn't left is her ability to play the piano. She plays by ear. She can't read music. So what she does is we sit down. So she loves all the old standards. And so what the connecting thing that Lodi does when she goes over to the care home is gets her mom in front of the piano gets her down at the piano. And then they play about the same 6 or 7 songs. But I'm telling you, it's just beautiful. And
Yeah.
her mom comes alive. And so
Mm.
me and her mom sing a song. It's from My Fair Lady, and it's On the Street Where You Live. And I learned it from Harry Connick Jr. on a album he made probably 25, 30 years ago. And it's a swing version of it, kind of that
Mhm.
New Orleans. It's got a jazzy version, not just the classical. And so just a couple hours ago, I was singing that song with Jane, Lodi's mom, in the care home with 3 of her friends. And we sat and watched it. And My Fair Lady it was just a fun film to watch, and songs
Mhm.
that all of those folks knew. I knew just like 3 of them, but I was able to clock them within that's where those songs come from. They come from this scene in the movie, and the
Yeah.
play. And so the hopeful thing is someone who is losing their mind, losing their memory, to come back to something so familiar.
Mm.
And I think just holding the song, it made me, I thought about, well, not until just this second, but the song that my mom would sing to me when I was a little boy. My mom had a beautiful singing voice. And so she would sing When I Wish Upon a Star. And
Oh, I love
yeah,
that.
when I was a little kid, and I can't hear that song without tearing up because it's just implanted. It's in my bones. And
Yes.
Bertice, you sing so beautifully. Aren't there certain songs that you can immediately go to that like
Yeah.
ring the hopeful bell?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's interesting that you say that. I have MS, and multiple sclerosis likes to do its thing with muscles, and the voice box is muscles, right? So
Hmm.
my voice I'm hearing more lately, it leaving, right? And so what do you do with a muscle that's getting weaker? You work it. so
Yeah.
so I sing even though it doesn't sound like it used to sound. It doesn't have the stuff. But my mother, when she lived with me the last 18 years of her life, and I would get up and go in the morning and we would sing together, and it would,
Mm.
I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on Jesus. And she'd just come in, all right, I woke up this morning with my mind. And she'd have a beautiful voice, but it
Uh,
leaves. And I think
yeah.
singing is such a hopeful thing. There's a lot of science about singing together and what it does when you're breathing together and you're singing
Mm.
connected, and even singing to yourself, singing when you're going through something is such a hopeful thing. I was singing the other day, and I shared in a sermon singing Precious Lord, that people think it's a funeral song, but it's actually a song of hope. And the
Hmm.
father of modern day gospel music, Tommy Dorsey, wrote the song when his wife and she died in childbirth, and their firstborn child died.
Yes.
And his friend, he wouldn't come out. He said he was never going to play or sing again. Wouldn't come out. And his
Hmm.
friend, Professor Fry, said, You got to come out." And he goes and gets him, and he takes him to a music school, leaves him in front of a piano, that same kind of thing. And he was
Wow.
playing an old hymn, and then the words of Precious Lord came to him.
Mm.
And then when Martin Luther King was despondent, he'd call in the middle of the night Mahalia Jackson, who had been taught by Tommy Dorsey. And so here's this song that's being passed down as this way of encouragement, right?
Wow.
And it is for the living. It is not for the dying. We think it's a song for the dying,
Hmm.
but it's for the living. And it simply says, "Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I am weak, I am worn, I am tired. Through the
Hmm.
storm, through the night, lead me on to the light. Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on."
Yeah.
And when you look at it the right way, you hear the hope, right? When you look at spirituals, Negro spirituals, you hear the hope. You think that they're, about, kumbaya, my Lord, kumbaya. It sounds like just some, what is that? It's "come by here, my Lord, come by here." It sounds like a song to the Lord to come by here, but those are code songs for anybody who was leading so-called fugitives out of that slave system. "Come by here, come get me. I'm ready to go." I looked
Wow.
over Jordan, and what did I see? Jordan was a literal mountain, a band of angels coming after me, this band of other
Mm.
runaways coming for me,
Wow.
coming for to carry me home. These are all code songs of hope.
um, Aize Jama Everett, a close friend of mine, started a nonprofit that I'm on the board of. It's called Drinking Gourd Refuge. And so
Mm,
I asked him, "How did you come up with Drinking Gourd?" And he said, "I'll send you the song." And it's a coded
mhm,
spiritual.
mhm.
And the drinking gourd talks about following. There's all these beautiful lines in the song about
Yeah,
where the moss is on the tree, lets you know which direction you're going in. The drinking gourd is the Big Dipper. So it's
yeah,
just like all these pointing songs. And I thought, so brilliant. What a
yeah.
brilliant. And the connection, I think, Bertice, that I find fascinating is that you and I talked for months before I knew that your mom, Miss
Mhm.
B, was raised by abolitionists,
Yeah, yeah.
and that which I've read your book, "Blessed Be the Tie That Binds," the
Mm,
ties that bind,
mhm.
about your connection to the abolitionist movement. That you are just one generation away from
Well,
from
yeah, my
that.
mom
So,
was, yeah, because my mother was actually raised until she was 12 by these abolitionists. And I'm just go back to, and I'm right there. And it is amazing.
more than amazing, it's like this. It's like a living. When you meet people that survive certain things, I just think about when I shook John Lewis's hand,
Yeah.
of all of the energy I felt with that. When I talked to someone who was at Pearl Harbor,
Hmm.
or met someone who had lived in Auschwitz and survived.
Hmm.
So these are living memorials of people who had to
Yeah.
do tough, difficult things.
Well, that's
Uh,
why sit down, you'll cool off.
uh-huh.
When you're a kid, I would get so mad. And I'm just asking, can we turn on the fan? Because that's all we had. We didn't have any air conditioning. We had a fan. Can we turn on the fan? Sit down, you'll cool off. And you did, but you were mad because you
Hmm.
wanted the fan. And she knew the fan was only going to blow hot air. But if
Huh.
you sat down and stopped fretting, you could regulate yourself to the temperature that you needed to be.
Yeah.
Um, not the one you really desired, which was cool air on you. But a lot of times the outward conditions are a reflection of our inward frustrations and a lack of hope. And
Yes.
I'm a sociologist, but you are a psychotherapist. And
Yes.
you see this all the time. You see people who are living in comfort, but feeling as if they're in despair.
Yeah.
How do you help them go forward?
I think I think realizing that I too need the same type of encouragement. We all are, what's that saying? It's in mentoring, or it's in men's work that I've heard, is Richard Rohr says, you can only take somebody as far as you've been. So,
Mm.
you can only, if so, that's why it's necessary. That's why mentorship and apprenticeship is so necessary. You have to submit to an elder in your life in order to become one yourself. Just because you get older doesn't mean you're an elder.
Mm-mm.
So the fact of the matter is, I think the most important thing is to find somebody. This is what I think. This is what I think that I am to my clients. And I also practice this very same thing: is find somebody. Sometimes that person can be me, but if it's not me, find somebody who you admire, whose life emulates something that you would like, and spend time with them, take notes from them, and try to emulate them the best you can. That is that
Mm-hmm.
type of mirroring, that type of apprenticeship. It's
Mm-hmm.
apprenticeship that we need. So I do that in my life. I have elders in my life to whom I go when life gets a little too tough for me to handle on my own. And I say, like, how do I get through this patch?
Mm-hmm.
How do I
Well,
do this?
you are the little brother in this situation in terms of our age.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a good deal older than you. And I find that it is now my role to find those folks whom I want to give my life
Yes,
lessons to. Socrates didn't, people signed up and paid for courses and classes, but in terms of finding your mentees, it's up to the teacher to find the students who you decide you want to give your life work to, right? But it is also up to the student, like you said, to find those people you see a quality in them, you want to learn from, you want to listen to, you want to emulate. I think too often people think, give me what you know, and they've done nothing to earn the knowledge of somebody who
that's
has
right.
something to pass on, right? So
That's
if you're
right.
not already sitting and watching and listening in a way that is, and I think discipline is a hopeful act. I think it being disciplined
Well,
is very hopeful.
I think so. And the word that I like to use, discipline, growing up with a disciplinarian dad, I didn't like the word discipline, but I love the word practice.
Mm,
Practice is when I love basketball. So when I was a kid, I loved basketball practice. Well, that's just a discipline. You're working it.
yeah.
That is discipline. I was disciplined in my
Mhm.
practice, but when I call it practice, it's like, I want to do it. I want to practice.
Yeah. When I hear the word discipline, I now think become a disciple of. Become a
Yes.
disciple of, it's the same root, right? Become a
Yes.
disciple of making my bed every morning. And again, B. Berry was, you get up, it's an act of
Discipline.
gratitude where your feet hit the floor. If you don't have to run to the bathroom, you make that bed. And as you're making that bed, pray a prayer of gratitude around that bed to say thank
Wow.
you for sleeping in it, for being able to sleep all night and wake up in the morning. And as she would say, clothed in her right mind and
Mm.
walking around it. And my mother would say things like, it's always a good day when you can wipe yourself, which is, you don't think about
Yes.
until you
Well,
have to do it for somebody else, right?
well, I think that we're missing something in our culture, and I'm missing something. I think if I just point the finger back at me, is that I get caught up in the things in my life that aren't going as well as I'd like them to be. When in fact, if I begin to practice making my bed out of gratitude, then I'm
Mm.
approaching the rest of the things in the day out of a sense of gratitude, or a sense of like being thankful for the glass of water that sits
Yeah.
before me clean and wonderful. Lodi has a fresh well here, or fresh
Mm.
spring. So the water is tastes like, I mean, it's holy. So when you drink
Yeah.
the water, she's like, doesn't that taste good? So we're talking about how good the water tastes. People don't do
Yeah.
that.
No, in
But
fact, the other
that's a
day,
practice. That's a practice of welcoming this element.
it,
Uh,
it is you reminded me the other day I cooked a meal, and I had been in the middle of a conversation with somebody, and then somebody else called, and I said, I'll call you back. And I was going to call them back after I had finished this meal, and I was going to talk while I was eating. And I could hear my mother say, "Don't you dare. Don't you dare talk on the phone and eat. You don't even know what you eating. You ain't tasted it. And taste it. Go ahead, taste it." And I bit into it, and it was like, "Ooh, this is so good." She said, "See what I said? See what I said? You're not paying attention." And it is this gratitude and paying attention. I love what you said. When you start the day with gratitude, you're framing it and you're spending more time, you're setting your mind on the things that are working, the things that are good, and you're not wrapped around. I got to tell you this funny story. A tree fell in my yard today and I heard it. It was loud. But I went out and looked and I didn't see it. I couldn't find it. And then shortly, maybe 20 minutes later, my neighbor called. She was somewhere else and she said, "Did you hear that loud thump?" She said, "My husband didn't hear it. But the tree fell, the tree we've been talking about." Yeah, she says to me all the time, "That tree's going down soon. And this, no, you got to do something about the tree." And my tree people come. I don't think anything of it. I mean, I think of it, but I try not to focus. We got lots of trees. And so I go out and her husband's there and she says, "You're talking to him?" She said, "Well, I'm gonna let y'all talk." And she was like, "Well, the tree man's coming because the other guy's tree fell and we're going to take care of that tree for him. And he's got one pointing right towards his bedroom and we're taking care of that tree. We got to get these trees up." And I was getting anxious about not only the tree
yeah,
falling, but the cost of a removal of a tree is no insignificant thing. It's huge.
I know it.
And
I
these
know it.
trees are, you know it intimately. And I started thinking about that. And so she was going on and on. And so, and she's like, "Well, talk to him, because it didn't, but it's a little bit on our side, and da da da." And so okay. So he says to me, he says, "This tree is pretty much dead, and it's dead." And he's like the hardest working man I know. He's out in the yard all the time. He said, "It's dead. It's not going to take much to cut it up." And I said, "Well, I'll have my contractor come by and cut it up rather than have the yard guy take the whole thing." And he said, "Yeah, and it's no big deal." And then he said, "Hey, I'm gonna show you something. Look at here." And he opened his mouth and he said, uh, "I knocked my tooth out." And his tooth was missing.
What?
And yeah, it was hilarious. He said, "I look like a hillbilly walking around in the yard, don't I?" And I started laughing so hard because it was just funny. He said, "Now I have a temporary that I could just put in, but I'm just in the yard. I don't, nobody ever sees it, but I thought I'd show it to you." He was giving me this gift of, "Don't focus on this tree. Look at here." And it was so funny. It took me immediately. I don't
Mhm.
know if he knows how powerful that was, that gift of shifting me from, "Here's another
uh,
$2,000 bill. Here's another," you know what I mean?
yeah,
Shifting me out of that into, he was like, "It's all fine. It ain't on nothing." And him saying that with this missing tooth was like hilarious. It was like, I'm gonna show you what it looked like. He's there talking to me.
yeah. I had no idea we were going to talk about missing teeth.
"Hey,
Bertice,
look at here, look at
stop,
here, look at it right
stop.
here, look at here. Hey, don't worry
Hey,
about that
Bertice,
tree. Don't I look like a hillbilly? Don't I? I look just like a hillbilly." I could no longer. be bothered, be frightened, be worried, be in the mind of, oh, now how do I cover
Mm-hmm.
this on top of that? The kids going back to school, and blah, 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 blah. And I was doing all of that. And then all he
Yeah.
gave me was, hey, Bertice, I want to show you something. He looked like a
Bertice,
jack-o'-lantern.
with your orange glasses, you kind of look like a jack-o'-lantern.
I
God,
do.
Bertice, I have no idea how did we
And
get
those
here?
of you who are
That's what
not,
happens
if
to
you are
us.
listening through the podcast and not watching this, all I did was take a little black piece of paper and put it over my teeth, and it blacked out two of my teeth. And it really gave me the look of my neighbor with his tooth missing. And you could do it at home yourself. You can just surprise your neighbors. Just take a
You
black
know
piece of
what?
paper, put it in
You
there.
know.
Suddenly,
Well,
Jimmy can't stop
well,
laughing.
I love the distractibility factor of it. It's kind of like falling into laughter when you're in a place of pain and somebody
Mm-hmm.
gets you tickled, and then you realize
Mm-hmm.
that at the same time you can hold the dialectic. You can feel like
Yes.
really you can feel really intimidated by something, and then the laughter comes. It's like, how can I hold joy and sadness at the same time? It is possible.
And that
It's like
tree is still on that ground. And look,
it's
I
still
got a gap. I got a gap between my teeth. Try it at home. Just take a piece of black paper, put it between your teeth. It'll give you an accent immediately. You just suddenly you got a gap and an accent. Oh my God.
how do we course
Laughter is a
correct?
gift.
No, listen. Yes, it's a gift.
It
Bertice,
is.
you and I, just to say, that's a hopeful thing. And you and
Yeah.
I, when I met you the first time, every time we've been together in person, which hasn't been that many, maybe 4 times,
Yes.
that is just, we go right to it, and we go, and
Yeah.
it usually comes after we do something together. That's like
Mm-hmm.
whether we did a wedding together, or I hear you preach.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes from the sublime to the ridiculous and back to the sublime.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of hold both of those things, which makes it
Yeah.
so not just fun, but it makes it free. It makes it, I don't know. It's just, it's delicious. It's good.
It is.
It's
Delicious is the
good.
word I like to
It
use,
was,
which is why I'm happy to be doing this with you, Reverend Jimmy, my little brother. I'm very
yes,
happy. And I
Dr.
hope
B,
you
I'm
all are
happy.
happy. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, what I want to say is, I said it when we got into a year ago, the Facebook Live events, that I kept kind of announcing midway through our conversations that you and I don't script anything. Obviously, we talk about, we go where the conversation takes us, and we've just
Mhm.
now put some guardrails and scaffolding around it so that we're interviewing people, and
Yeah.
it allows us to have fun with it. And for that, in and of itself, is a hopeful thing for us to do. Because if it's not hopeful for us to do it, if it's not
Right.
fun for us to do it, people will know that. People will see that.
Right. Right. Thank
Um,
you. Yeah. And thank you for that reminder that this is, we go where it leads us. We know what we want to do. There will always be a meditation. There will always be a fabulous guest. Sometimes we will be our own
yes.
guests. There will always be somebody sharing something that you can do to be hopeful. Because in times that don't feel like they're hopeful, do hopeful things and learn from them. And today we learned you can sing, you can hold two things together at the same time. You can take a black piece of paper, put it between your teeth, and make yourself laugh, and you can sing.
And you can sing, I could have danced all night.
Sit your behind down.
Hey, I want to mention before we sign off to share about some of our upcoming guests. Mike
Fantastic.
Little, Mike Little from A Wider Table and Faith and Money Network,
Ooh,
Aize Jama
brilliant
Everett,
man.
writer of 7 books, guerrilla theologian,
Amazing
as he
guy.
calls himself, Nathaniel
Yes.
Smith, dissertating while
Yeah.
black.
Ooh. Yes. 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 Yes.
And finally, lastly, but not leastly, our
And not
producer,
lastly, just in our first bank
not
of
lastly,
shows.
yes, our
Yeah.
first bank of shows, JJ Anderson.
Yeah, she's our
And
producer and a brilliant
we're gonna get,
filmmaker.
yes, yes, and we're gonna get Tito Molina in here too. He is
Yeah,
a
another brilliant
filmmaker,
filmmaker. Hmm.
and
And
these
they know
people
how to
are
see hope in the midst of difficult things. They know how to create light out of darkness. They are alchemists when it comes to film. All of these guests are phenomenal, and you are also a guest of ours. And we hope to continue. Hope is such a good word. We hope to continue with you and that you continue with us. Listen to these podcasts and then join us live through social media, and we will really have a great time. And two things can be true at the same time. It can be difficult while it's joyful. I'm going through some difficult things, which is why I knew it was time for us to do some hopeful things. And Reverend Jimmy,
amen.
I'm so glad you are my brother in the hope.
Uh, I love you. Thank you.
I love you too. We will see you soon.
All right.
Sit your behind down. I could have danced.
Dad.
We'll see you next time.